What's going on, everybody? What is going on? And welcome to the Friday live stream on the Rain in Real Time channel. It is Friday, November 5th, 2021. It is the first Friday of the month. So you know how it is. Let's see, who do we have here. Before we get started, make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button. If you are just now coming in, make sure that you not only hit that like button, but you also share the stream as well on your various social media accounts so we can get some more eyes and views in here. The subscribers on this channel are going up because I think last week, and it's crazy because last week I wasn't even on this channel. My subscribers have gone up. I think I'm over 1,800 on this channel right now. Like in the last time I was on it before today, I was at 17 something. So the subscribers are going up even when I'm not utilizing this channel. So that's a good thing that people are checking this out, because one thing I always like to make sure to do is share this in the community tab after the stream is over so people can come back and listen to whatever it is that they missed out on. So let's see, who do we have here so far? Ashen, Darlene. You said about what? Yeah, I heard about Wesley Snipes and J-Lo, and I do have a video coming about that really soon. Jamal, Nightfall Drop, Joseph Washington, Sunlight, Marco, what's going on? What is going on? Bat Cave, thank you. Thanks for the compliment. Spotted Leopard, welcome. Pinky JYB, what is going on? So far, I have 14 people in here so far. Let's make sure and get that like button, get those likes up. I would greatly appreciate it. As you can see, we're starting an hour later on this channel because, as y'all know, for those of you who don't know, I kind of switched up the upload format on my main channel. I'm not at the current moment not doing 3 videos a day, even though on Fridays I had told y'all before I was going to do 2 videos, but going forward with the rest of the days of the week, I'm only doing 2 videos a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Based on my analytics, it'll either be 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. if it's a Sunday. If it's Sunday through Friday. On Saturday is the only day where the afternoon premiere video will be at 3 p.m. based on how my analytics are structured on that particular channel. Backcase said, did you hear about Saudi Arabia not showing Eternals? Yes, and I know why they're not doing it. I saw what they were saying, but I did hear the people at Disney said that they're not falling off their square behind. And they said that we're still going to promote it, whether you show it or not. So it looks like Disney might have the upper hand with that, but hey, that's Saudi Arabia's rules. If that's not what they're going to show, then they're not going to show it. But I have no dog in that fight. And by the way, speaking of Eternals, if you have not done so already, my review for Eternals just went up about 30 minutes ago. It was premiered. It ended at like 4:30 something because it was a pretty long video that I went over. You can go and check that out after this is done, of course, and it has some spoilers in there. So if you have not seen the movie but you want to see it, I would suggest that you watch the movie first and then look at my review. It's not a spoiler heavy review. I probably give like 3 spoilers in the whole review, and that's in a 30+ minute review. So it's not like I spoiled the whole movie for those who do want to see it. Let's see, who else do we have here? Letitia, Mark, Jordan. Ashton said the Braves of the World Series. Shout out to it. Shout out to the city of Atlanta and the Braves for winning the World Series. I know that was a very big deal for the people down in the city of Atlanta. That's always a good thing. I remember when the Nationals won the World Series here back in 2019. Yeah, it was 2019 because it was pre-COVID. And the city went crazy. So it's always a big thing when your city wins a major championship, whether it's on a collegiate level or on a major league or a professional level. Smoke Yankee says, yeah, that Eternal movie was a big disappointment. Nothing, but we have to push the white boy and Asian girl relationship, and the black guy has to be gay and a sidekick. Hey, I don't make the movies. It is what it is. But from what I heard, this movie actually made more money in its first day than Shang-Chi did. And that movie made a lot of money, in case y'all did not know. I never reviewed it though. But so I don't know. Everyone's going to have different taste about it, but I heard a lot of people review bomb Eternals because of them inserting the part about the Fastos character having a husband and, you know, being gay. And that's where the major review bombs came, based on an article that I read last week. That's where it came from, not from them gender swapping characters or race swapping characters. It was just from that. That's what I read in an article where it said, based on a lot of the people who review bombed it, it came from that part alone. And like I said in my review, don't shoehorn anything in there that's not supposed to be there if it doesn't help guide the story. And him and being married to a man did not do anything for his story. It's just okay. It is right there. That was one of my critiques that I had in my review. But that's Marvel and most recently DC for you. Let's see what happened. Let's see where we're going. Marco says time goes back an hour this weekend. It sure does. It's about to get dark even earlier. It's 5:06 where I'm at right now. So that means the next time I do my live stream, it'll be pitch black outside. Well, it'll start to get dark because they said the sun sets at 4:59 and I start my stream at 5. So it'll be getting dark. By the time the stream is over, it'll be completely dark outside. I'll put it like that. Let me see. I think I missed a comment. Joseph said Colin in black and white looks promising. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews behind that. I actually do have a video coming about some comments that he has said in the or something, not comments, but something that was said in his narration of that particular miniseries that had a lot of people up in arms. But no, I have not watched it yet. And it's crazy. I don't have Netflix, but I do have this Fire Stick with the Kodi app on it. So it's nothing for me to just turn that app on and watch the entire series. Because that's how I did When They See Us. Let's see here. J-Dawg, he said there was a shooting near where I live in Woodbridge, Virginia. I almost want to say what else is new. Let's see here. Amar said, what's up, Torian? Keep doing what you're doing. You are on fire, brother. Appreciate you. Joe said Marvel's saving grace right now is the upcoming games that they're making. I don't know what games they have coming up. Well, besides the Spider-Man games. The way that they're setting up this new Spider-Man movie, I have a feeling that that's going to be a huge deal. That's where a lot of crossover stuff is about to occur, is within that realm. Tilda says, salute, I just watched The Harder They Fall, and I'm telling you, Lakeith is the new Denzel. He's a very good actor. And speaking of Lakeith, he actually posted something on his Instagram account that actually put a smile on my face. The 3rd season of Atlanta is coming next year, finally. Y'all have no idea how much I love that show. If I was to do a show, like show reviews, that would be one of the shows that I would do. That would be one of the shows I would review. But the only reason I don't do show reviews, and I used to do them like when I was reviewing Black Lightning, but I had a what account was that? It wasn't on YouTube. It was I forgot what it was, but you can use it for podcasts, and I forgot the name of the site. But I used to do Black Lightning reviews. Like I remember reviewing like the whole 1st season, like episode by episode. But that's very tedious because like you have to make sure that you catch the episode and get it out there almost as soon as possible, and don't like wait or anything like that, or unless you're one of the people that like to binge watch after a series is over, or the season is over. But I had just kind of stopped. But it's very tedious when it comes to doing it. But Atlanta season 3 is finally about to come in 2022. They don't have a release date yet for it. They just said it's coming in 2022. And what I like about that entire cast is that everybody in that cast, the main cast, has gone on to do some amazing things in film. Like no one is not doing or not working. Like everybody is working. Like you have Donald Glover, you know, he was doing Lion King. He did that Solo movie. I didn't watch it, but hey, I guess a film is a film. Lakeith Stanfield, that goes without saying. Like he's almost like he's acting his ass off. Brian Tyree Henry, he's been doing quite a few things. Zazie Beetz, she's doing her thing. She was in Deadpool 2. She was in The Joker, and now she's in this Harder They Fall movie alongside her Atlanta co-star Lakeith Stanfield. So I'm glad that all of them are doing, they're all doing their own thing, and now they're finally coming back together. The hiatus is over. The vacation is over. They're finally coming back to do the show. If y'all have never watched an episode of Atlanta, I would highly suggest that you do. It is a very, very, very good show. It has a mixture of drama and comedy in it, mainly because of Lakeith Stanfield's character. He plays this character named Darius, and Darius is always like a person that just stays high, but he be talking some real shit. But that's all I'm gonna say about it. Just watch the show if you haven't done so already. It's very, very good. No, Jordan, it wasn't Anchor. No, it wasn't Anchor. That wasn't the site I was talking about. Jordan said, "What do you think about that Morbius movie with Jared Leto?" I'm actually looking forward to it. This trailer right here sold me more than the first one, and I want to see what's going to happen, because I want to see Morbius and Blade fight. Imagine this: the living vampire versus the Daywalker, and I think they have some kind of a connection too. So I'm curious to see how that's going to look, but it looks good. The movie looks really good though. Smoke Yang said, "Wouldn't surprise me at all if Rittenhouse walked now. If he was black and he had been gunned down, MAGA supporters, we'd have a completely different conversation." I think that's why a lot of black people are reserved about doing certain things that white people do, because they already know the consequences of it, and many black people don't want to face those type of consequences. Meanwhile, white people, they know that they won't get touched. Look at this. And I'm actually going to, as a matter of fact, one of my videos that I'm uploading tomorrow is actually going to be talking about that judge and that comment he made before the trial started. Because if you didn't know, Kyle Rittenhouse trial began this week. This is the first week. About saying don't label the people he killed and shot as victims and refer to them as rioters and looters. That video is coming tomorrow. That's coming tomorrow. PD Chicago. Marvel, no, it's not. It's not called Marvel Knights. That's called Gotham Knights, and that's a DC game. It's not called Marvel Knights. Yes, Ash and BMF is a very good show. I actually like BMF. Daniel said BMF is all right. Too much black drama is about the ghetto life, too depressing. Well, guess what? Well, here's the thing, Daniel. That's the life story of a lot of black people. And as a matter of fact, I actually had to take a step back when I thought about that. When you are showing stuff like this is actually showing the world through television what life actually is like for a lot of black people, because systemically wise, that's how black people were placed. Like with the ghettos, the white people left, and where did black people get dumped into? What's now known as the ghetto. Of course, now there is a lot of it's going through gentrification, so they're trying to clean that out and basically do white flight in reverse. But it is 5:13. It's now time for me to go ahead and get this show started. So let me go ahead and pull up the screen so I can get this thing started. Let me go ahead and share my screen. If y'all have not hit that like button, make sure y'all go ahead and do that. I greatly appreciate it. So the first topic we're going to talk about today is actually a rather sad one. In case y'all are unaware, Ronnie Wilson, who was one of the founders of the Gap Band and the brother to Charlie Wilson, passed away at the age of 73. According to what I heard, he actually suffered from a stroke, and he also had some other health illnesses, according to his wife. So it says right here, after beginning his career as a teenager, he joined with his two younger brothers to record R&B hits like You Dropped the Bomb on Me and Outstanding. Those are like two of my favorite Gap Band songs. It says Ronnie Wilson, the founder of the Gap Band, which rode a funky party sound to success on the R&B charts in the late 70s and throughout the 80s, died on Tuesday. He was 73. The death was announced on Facebook by Mr. Wilson's wife, Linda Boulware Wilson. She did not say where he died or what the cause was. The Gap Band topped the R&B charts 4 times and placed 15 songs in the R&B top 10 from 1979 to 1990. 2 of its singles, Early in the Morning and You Dropped the Bomb on Me, reached the pop top 40 in 1982. Ronnie Wilson primarily played keyboards but also contributed horn and percussion parts and rotating vocal and instrumental arrangement with his 2 younger brothers, Robert, who mainly plays bass, and Charlie, the lead singer. Hits like Burner Rubber on Me, Why You Wanna Hurt Me, which came out in 1980, defined the Gap Band's sound, which the New York Times critic Stephen Holden described in 1981 as swinging minimalist funk, sweaty slinging, and streetwise. Some of their other best-known tracks, like Outstanding, struck a erotic tone in a softer manner, and less stomping of the feet, more rolling of the hips. The Gap Band appeared on Soul Train, the premier television showcase for black music at the time, and appeared in concert alongside bands like Kool and the Gang in the years after their popularity peaked. The Gap Band's tunes were sampled hundreds of times. Ashanti's 2002 hit Happy got its leisurely bouncy sound from Outstanding, and NWA's canonical Straight Outta Compton sped up and darkened Burn Rubber on Me. Interesting. In an interview with the weekly San Francisco newspaper, The Sun Reporter, in 1999, Mr. Wilson said that he and his younger brothers were addressed with the honorific uncle before their names by current music stars like Snoop Dogg because we helped to lay the foundation for hip-hop. Ronnie Wilson was born April 7, 1948 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. His father, Oscar, was a minister, and Ronnie and his brothers grew up playing music in church. Ronnie formed his first band as a teenager, and over time he got his brothers involved. The word Gap in the Gap Band's name came from Greenwood, Archer, and Pine Streets in Tulsa Greenwood District, the neighborhood once known as Black Wall Street. That was the site of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. The group got an early boost in the music business and met stars like Bob Dylan, thanks to the rock singer and pianist Leon Russell. Long based in Tulsa, who had the Gap Band backed on his album Stop All That Jazz, which came out in 1974. The Wilson brothers signed their first major label deal with Mercury a few years later. Ronnie Wilson later worked as a minister and continued to perform occasionally. His brother Charlie pursued a successful solo singing career. The other brother in the band, Robert, died in 2010. That's crazy. So Charlie Wilson is the only brother that's left alive. Daniel said, wasn't Drop the Bomb on Me about Tulsa Race Massacre. It's been a lot of speculation saying that's what it was about, but I heard some other things saying that wasn't what it was. But when you think about it, it kind of works like that. It's kind of one of those metaphoric type of things, sort of like when Rick James came out with the song Mary Jane. Everyone at first thought he was talking about the song like a woman by the name of Mary Jane, and had no idea that he was actually talking about weed. Just like the song You're Making Me High by Toni Braxton, a lot of people thought that she was referring to another man, but she was actually talking about weed. I was actually shocked to find that one out, but when it was a lyric in the song where it says you roll, I'll lick, I was like, okay, she's definitely talking about weed. But the way that they formulate the songs will have you thinking that they're talking about another person. Exactly, like Noam King said in the chat, it's 38 watching and only 28 likes. Smash that like button. The likes should actually match the amount of people that's in here. So I don't know why it's only 28 likes and it's 37 people watching. That means about 9 of you have not done or hit that like button. And also, if you have not done so already, share this stream. I know a lot of you probably have a Twitter account. But RIP to Ronnie Wilson and condolences to his entire family. That's crazy. When you lose it's one thing when you lose a bandmate, but when you lose a loved one at the same time, that's even more tragic at the same time. And the Gap Band made some timeless music, for sure, for sure. That outstanding. Also, I'm surprised they didn't put this in here, but Tatiana Ali has sampled Outstanding. Remember when Tatiana Ali had an album out back in the 90s? She did a song called Boy You Knock Me Out. That's where she got the sample from. And ironically, the name of the song was called Boy You Knock Me Out. And in the song Outstanding, they said, Girl, You Knock Me Out. So that's where she sampled that song from. That was a pretty, I guess you can say, within the Black community, it was a pretty big song. So with that being said, let me go ahead and move on to the next story. Let me take this off. So now we're going to be talking about the families of the Charleston church massacre. They reached an $88 million settlement with the Justice Department on Monday, on the 28th. Well, this was posted on the 28th, so I'm assuming that's around the time when it happened. And these are referring to the people who are the loved ones of the ones who was killed by Dylan Roof at that church back in 2015. Now, my thing is this. How in the world did it take this long for them to come to a settlement? That's crazy. It happened back in 2015, and this is now 2021, and they're just now reaching this settlement of $88 million, which I'm sure they're going to divide that up to all the families. So that's 9 families in total that's going to receive something out of this settlement. Let me pull up the math right quick. 88 divided by 9. That's about almost $10 million. It's not quite 10, it's $9.7 million per family. Now, I'm sure that, there's probably going to be some lawyer fees taken out, so they'll probably get about a little over $8 million when it's all said and done. Right, Terry, he said taxpayers' money, because well, we can't say it's going to come out of a police department's check because the police did not have anything to do with this. This was all on Dylan Roof. So we can blame him for this. Well, I mean, of course we already do, though, but it is what it is. Let's see. It says the families of 9 people fatally shot in 2015 at a historically Black church in Charleston, South Carolina, have reached an $88 million settlement with the Justice Department in their lawsuit over the shooter's weapon purchase, according to agency officials in a news release Thursday. The settlements range from $6 million to $7.5 million per claimant for those killed at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church and $5 million per claimant for survivors. The people that live, because I forgot, not everybody was killed that day. The widow of the Reverend Clementa Pinckney thanks supporters and those involved in reaching the settlement. Even though Clementa is not with us here physically, I know spiritually he is with us, and I know that he is smiling down on us right now, Jennifer Pinckney said. He will be missed along with all the others that didn't survive that night. The victims killed range from 26 to 87 years old. They were Pinckney, the Reverend Sharonda Coleman Singleton, the Reverend DePayne Middleton Doctor, the Reverend Daniel Simmons, Cynthia Hurd, Susie Jackson, Myra Thompson, Ethel Lance, and Tywanza Sanders. Dylan Roof, an avowed white supremacist, was convicted on federal murder and hate crimes charges. He was sentenced to death in 2017 and has appealed his conviction. Of course, the appeal did not go through. Pinckney's daughter, Eliana, said that the settlement has profound meaning. For the first time, I think, in so long as a young African-American woman, to see the government acknowledge the fact that racism still exists and how prevalent it is in our community, and then actively try to combat it in every way that they can, and to acknowledge that gun violence is an issue, and to do everything they can to correct the mistake is so important. Bakari Sellers, one of the attorneys for the victims, said the settlement is a big FU to white supremacists of this country. He said the settlement of $88 million, $25 million split among survivors, and $63 million split among the families for those killed is symbolic because the number 88 is a symbol of hate and was written on Roof's shoes while he carried out the shooting. I learned something new today because I did not know that. I did not know that. That's something I learned to do. I learned about. It says domestic terror, white domestic terror, is a real issue in this country. So it said these individuals were killed because they were black. The attack was not on First Baptist. That attack was on Mother Emanuel AME Church. So let's not misconstrue what this issue is. And I'm just going to stop right there because I don't want to go too much further. I just wanted to get to the meat of this article. What's going on, Light Visions? Terry Jones accepted Tim Scott and Kamala Harris. And by the way, Tim Scott, isn't this his state? Isn't South Carolina Tim Scott's state? That's what makes him with that statement he said about a month or probably like 2 months ago, even more silly. Here you have one of the worst hate crimes we have seen in recent years be carried out in the state that you represent, and you had the nerve to sit up there and say racism doesn't exist in America, or America's not a racist nation. What's going on, AB Media and Donacy? Interesting. And I believe Tim Scott was still in his position at the time that this happened. Okay, let me so that's pretty much that story right there. So I guess you can say that this part of the story is pretty much a cap has been put on it. Because the next time I want to hear something, I want to know that Dylan Roof is on that gurney and he's getting that lethal cocktail. Then we can put this whole thing to rest. Let's move on to the next story, and that is involving 2,300 New York City firefighters called out sick as the scene mandate begins, but the mayor says public safety is not disrupted. So basically, a lot of firefighters in New York City saying that, okay, you want us to force us to take this thing? Bet. I'm feeling kind of sick. I have a headache. I'm sweating. I have a little bit of a fever. I'm a bit contagious. This cough is killing my throat. My nose won't stop running. My body is aching. I can't come in today. And apparently 2,300 people felt the same exact way. So let's see what they're talking about. Hundreds of New York City firefighters called in sick Monday morning as the COVID-19 mandate for municipal employees went into effect, bringing the total of number of sickouts in the fire department to 2,300. The Fire Department of New York Commissioner Daniel A. Negro, is his name really Negro, but it's spelled with an I, said at a news conference, normally 800 to 1,000 fire department employees call in sick on any given day. Spokesperson Jim Long told CNN. Negro, I can't believe if that's his name. Wow, I bet the jokes just fly off if that's the case. Said many people calling in sick were protesting the mandate. If you're sick, you're sick. It's a dangerous job. I get it. If you're not sick, I want to see you back at work, Negro said. Once the members come to their senses and stop using medical leave improperly, they can help out not only the citizens of the city, but their brothers and sisters who are staffing this unit, Negro said. With many public safety unions pushing back against the mandate, city officials had worried about employee shortages in the fire and police departments. Speaking at a news conference, Mayor Bill de Blasio said approximately 9,000 city employees are on leave without pay as of Monday, out of a workforce of 378,000 for not complying with the scene mandate regulations. He said public safety has not been compromised. De Blasio said people who are inappropriately using sick leave in the fire department or any other department are facing very serious consequences. When a city employee fakes it and puts other people's lives in danger, that's a serious thing, and there are going to be consequences for that. There are 18 fire units out of service out of 350 in total. Negro said adding no firehouses are closed. NYPD Commissioner Dermot Shea said 34 of 35,000 uniformed officers were on no pay status on Monday, along with 40 of 17,000 civilian employees. I'm trying to see if I want to read the rest of this. I'm seeing this, and it's causing an exodus, just like basically a mass walkout. Okay, I think I pretty much get the gist of it. So basically, the NYC firefighters are walking off of the job, well, saying that they're sick because they don't want to take the scene or they don't want it to be mandated. And now the mayor is saying, okay, if y'all don't want to work, you're going to basically, you can call out sick, but we're not going to pay you. And see, that's basically to scare them into coming back in. But I don't know if it's necessarily working. And see, the thing is, if they hold out long enough, they're going to make the opposite side fold. Because remember, you need the NYC firefighters more than they need you. Oh, Jordan said that is his real name. I forgot you are. I think you are in New York, so you would know that is his real name. That's that's crazy. His last name is Negro. Wow. But yeah, the NYC firefighters of the fire department in New York is standing their ground, and they are not budging. Jordan said the bitch yo needs to shut the F up. Terry said, now let the NYPD call off for a month and NY will be crazy. Oh, yes, because they're essential workers. And if a fire breaks out, who's going to put it out? If it's a big fire, of course, now there's a little small fire, you can like extinguish it or get some water, then that's nothing. But if it's a fire that you know you can't contain, what you going to do? But see, I think a lot of these politicians, as I like to call it, bit off more than they can chew when it comes to this whole situation right here. They just don't realize it yet, but I think they're going to realize it eventually. Me neither, Terry. I can't with that name either. Negro. Wow. But yeah, that's that. Now just imagine if all essential workers started to do that. New York would be in a world of shit. Let's move on. Let's see here. He pauses. Okay, I wanted to. I almost did. I almost did a video separate about this, but I said let me go ahead and do a regular video about this. So basically, what you have in this case, and this is close to home because it happened in the state that I lived in. And this actually, it took place on September 25th, but there was ongoing updates for this story. It says 2 adults charged with assaulting minors at a youth football game in Maryland. Now, you gotta when you read that, you gotta think to yourself, what grown adult is going to sit up there and attack some kids? Some of the palm-colored kind, because to my knowledge, and I think one of the kids is the one in this picture, and I'm guessing that's his dad sitting next to him, was one of the ones that was attacked. Now I don't know why they were attacked. I haven't even read this article. I just found out about it a couple of days ago, and I'm gonna go ahead and read what they are talking about. A recreational youth football game in Maryland that devolved into a brawl among at least 30 people has resulted in charges against 2 white adults who are accused of assaulting two black minors from the opposing team. The game between the Oni Bears, a team with predominantly black and Hispanic children, and the North Carroll Colts, which predominantly was composed of white children, took place in Christmas Tree Park in Manchester, Maryland on September 25th. Police and North Carroll Rec Council officials say they have so far found no evidence that racism played a part in the scuffle. Well, that's very quick of them to actually say that. I mean, if you look at the optics, I would definitely say race played a part. And definitely high levels of immaturity. Multiple parents who spoke with ABC News described a tense environment that was heightened because parents from both teams were on the same sideline. Oni was winning when a heated disagreement over a referee's call exacerbated tensions, and referees called off the game early, according to police and multiple witnesses who added that the brawl broke out as coaches, parents, and players walked off the field. The game disgustingly ended with approximately 30 persons in a melee, which is a very rare occurrence, Manchester Police Chief John Hess told ABC News on Sunday. The single officer on scene at the start was forced to use pepper spray to defuse the situation because his clear verbal commands were ignored. And the melee was escalating as he was waiting for multiple support units to arrive. According to court documents and police, Nicole Starr Ellis, age 31, and Keith Gregory Lochner, age 32, each were charged with second-degree assault against a 13-year-old black player. According to the District Court of Maryland for Carroll County, a trial is scheduled for December 7th. Joseph Ashley, an attorney representing Ellis, told ABC News on Wednesday that his client denies all allegations of uttering racial epithets and assaulting of anyone. Attorney Frank Turney, who's representing Lochner, declined to comment to ABC News on Thursday. According to court documents obtained by ABC News, a 13-year-old Oni player whose name was withheld to protect his identity and because he's a minor, allegedly was punched by Lochner. Ellis is accused of assaulting Casey Robinson, the son of Oni head coach Kirk Robinson. The Carroll County Youth Football League, to which both teams belonged, told ABC News that the executive board launched an investigation last month that so far led to the expulsion or suspension of several individuals associated with both teams. As additional details emerge from the CCYFL, we'll continue to evaluate and take further actions as necessary, the executive board said in a statement to ABC News. The league has a zero-tolerance policy for any physical altercations on the sidelines, and unfortunately, the decisions made by a few adults has impacted the season. So right there alone, even if, let's just hypothetically say, that this attack had nothing to do with the fact that these kids is black. The fact that they even attacked them, period, is a problem. Like, you are a whole grown-ass adult, allegedly, because like I said, age doesn't define maturity, but you felt the need to go out and attack these kids because of an alleged bad call that you didn't agree with. No one can say, did they attack the kids in the stands? No, they attacked them on the field. Like, there's a whole, I think there's like a whole video of it. Like, they attacked them on the field. They were not in the stands. They weren't attacking spectators. They were attacking the players. The league would not disclose the names of those who faced disciplinary action, but Kirk Robinson confirmed that he was one of them. According to Robinson, he initially was suspended for 2 games for using foul language during the game after he disagreed with the refereeing decision, but later he was banned for life from coaching in the league or attending games. Robinson told ABC News he thinks that decision is unfair because he was defending his family. My job is to protect the kids that are on the field, and I'm paying the consequences for it. You can't tell me that any adult is going to be okay with whether their child is black or white being assaulted by another adult. Robinson's wife, Amanda Robinson, told ABC News she witnessed the alleged assault against the first child. So this guy actually got disciplinary action because he was defending his kids and got banned for life. Latasha Robinson, Casey Robinson's mother, said that following confrontations involving Ellis, Lochner, and parents of Oni players, there was pushing and shoving as they walked through the crowd amid the commotion. She said Casey fell to the ground after he was allegedly assaulted by Ellis. He was upset. He was hurt, Latasha Robinson said. You don't just swing into a crowd and there's kids there. Several individuals associated with the only team who were present at the game, including family members of the two 13-year-olds who were allegedly assaulted, claimed that their children were subjected to racial slurs by North Carroll players and parents. Tamisha, the sister of the first child who was allegedly assaulted, told ABC that her brother was crying so hard afterward that he couldn't even catch his breath. Tamisha said that her brother scored 2 touchdowns, and as tensions were getting high before the scuffle broke out, he and his teammates were taunted throughout the game by individuals associated with North Carroll. I went over to him originally, and I just asked him if he was okay, and he said they're calling me the N-word, they're calling us the N-word, they're taunting us, and I said, don't worry about that, go to your coaches, just stay with them, she said. Hess told ABC News there is no evidence of racial slurs on various spectator videos obtained by police, but it's unclear how much footage is out there and the criminal case is still open. North Carroll Rec Council President Andy Kyler told ABC News on Sunday that the North Carroll Colts executive board took disciplinary action against several individuals, but racist remarks have not been found, which includes an investigation by police that included video and conversations with those at the event. NCRC takes all accusations of this type of discrimination very seriously, and we do not tolerate that type of behavior within our program. He added, our review has concluded unless new information is brought to our attention. No, they want so bad for there not to be any racial epithets to be spoken because they know that that's going to be another issue on their hands. But like I said, hypothetically saying, even if there wasn't any racial taunts given, the fact that they still assaulted these kids is still a problem. And last I checked, assault is a crime. What's going on, the only JS? What's up, Spidey? Yes, I did hear about that, but the only reason I'm not talking about that, because I could have easily slipped that in there, is because I don't know too much about that man outside of him being a snake. Jordan said, typical of the K's to go after what they deem as soft targets. Right? Let's see. Terry Jones said, PC on code all throughout this story, as they usually are. Nothing new there. That's crazy. And like I said, this happened in Oney, Maryland. I'm familiar with Oney, but I've never been there. Oney, that's more, for me, that's more northern Maryland. That's like going towards Baltimore. But let me move on to the next story. Now, this story right here was actually sent to me by one of my patrons on Patreon. Shout out to Jason on Patreon. And I said, I'm going to save this video or save this topic for today on my live stream instead of doing it as a pre-recorded video, because it was more closer toward the end of the week anyway. And this story right here is absolutely insane. So it says septic tank worker's body found buried under his last job, and his boss is charged with his murder. So this is the one who was buried under the tank, and that was the boss. But if they have the quote in here from this man's daughter, that's heartbreaking, because I saw the quote, but I can't remember exactly what she said. I hope that they put it in this article. It says Brent Mack, age 50, and his boss had arrived to a client's job site on September 20th. Surveillance footage showed Mack entering a hole meant for a septic tank and never re-emerging, an arrest affidavit stated. A former city council member in Oklahoma has been denied bond after his employee's body was discovered shot and buried under a septic tank. According to court documents, Daniel Joseph Triplett, age 66, of Guthrie, is facing one charge of first-degree murder and one charge of desecrating a human corpse. Authorities found the decomposing body of his alleged victim, 50-year-old Brent Mack, buried in a hole slightly deeper than where a septic tank had been installed, with a projectile lodged in his chest, according to a probable cause affidavit. Mack, who was black, had worked for Triplett in his septic tank installation business, and the pair had been installing that particular septic tank together for a client when Mack entered a hole in the ground but never re-emerged. The surveillance footage also showed Triplett moving gravel using a backhoe in his yard on his own, with Mack never reappearing in any of the footage. The video shows what appears to be a normal workday, authorities reported in the affidavit. The video doesn't show any type of physical altercation between the two men. The video doesn't show Brent sitting or walking around while Dan is working. Mac had first gone missing in September. His daughter, Rachel Wilson, told authorities with the Guthrie Police Department that no one had heard from him since September 20th, the last day any calls were made from his phone, with his final text message to his girlfriend in Texas sent around noon reading, "Okay, babe, I'll call you later," according to the affidavit. That was the same date Triplet told Wilson that he had fired Mac when she reached out over Facebook Messenger. Now listen to that. This guy is responsible for the death of his own employee. His daughter is panicking, trying to figure out where her dad is. And when she does hear something about her dad, she gets a whole lie from her dad's boss saying that he was fired. Knowing damn well that man wasn't fired. So he just made up a whole lie to try to cover himself up. And lied to this man's daughter. He worked with Dan for roughly about 3 years, and they had kind of a love-hate situation, I would say. In the messages, Triplet allegedly told her that he had dropped Mac off in front of a laundromat with $1,000 cash as severance after firing him that day. Triplet later allegedly deleted the messages to Wilson, but she had taken screenshots of their conversation. Smart on her part. Surveillance footage showed Triplet driving by the laundromat, but it did not show Mac being dropped off. When authorities questioned Triplet in October, he became very red-faced and appeared to be angry. Triplet was later arrested and charged in Mac's murder, and he remains behind bars until his next court date on November 18th. He has not yet entered a plea. His attorney, Ronald Wallace's office, confirmed they are representing Triplet in his charges and told Inside Edition Digital that they had no comment in relating to the case. Man, listen, I hope this guy has some male family members that they could, I don't know, he would have to catch these hands. I'm sorry. He would. He absolutely would. I think the thing that gets me about this story is the fact that he lied to this man's daughter. Like, over the messages. He straight up lied to her and said he dropped him off at a laundromat with $1,000 cash and said that he fired him. But like I said, it was very smart and quick thinking on the daughter's part to screenshot those messages, because that was the evidence right there that they needed. That's crazy. It's like they said. So basically, what happened was that the guy fell down into this. He fell down into where the septic tank was supposed to go. They say he never came back up, and this guy, his boss, never even tried to make an attempt to retrieve him. So this guy possibly could have lived. I don't know. I don't know if he died on impact or whatever the case may be, because that sounds like it was a pretty deep fall. But there was a chance that he could have lived. This piece of shit right here on the left did not take that opportunity. Then he said, how did he overpower? He didn't overpower him. Like I said, he fell into the hole where the tank was supposed to go, but he never tried to pull him back out. So he literally left him there to die. Basically, that's what happened. Because they said his body was decomposing because he was missing for a couple of days. And he looks evil. Look at his mugshot. He looks like he's smiling. But we'll see what happens to him. I'm gonna see if I can try to stay on top of this story. Like I said, I get hit with so many stories. It's crazy. That's why I had to kind of scale back with the uploads. By the way, to those in the chat, before I go to the next story, how do y'all like the new schedule that I'm doing right now? How are y'all adjusting to the new schedule? Because I know that y'all are used to the 3 videos, the 10, the 2, and the 6. But now I'm doing the 2 with the 10 and today it was 4. Tomorrow it'll be 3. It'll be 10 and 3. Then Sunday it'll be 10 and 5. Monday's 10 and 5. Tuesday's 10 and 4. I have it laid out. Like, but how is that working for y'all? Okay, Ashton said that it's cool. Autobot Jazz said that he's cool with it. Ashton said it's good. Joseph said so far so good. Tina said it's good. I like the new schedule. The spacing is better. Cool. I always like to get feedback from my people. How are the notifications? Are the notifications going out to you, or do y'all get the notifications quicker in the Discord? Because I'll put it like this. For instance, when I'm doing the premiere video, I'll always get the one saying, oh, this video is premiering in 30 minutes. But I might not always get the one that's saying, oh, this video is premiering now. Like the Eternals review that I did today, I got both of those today. But I won't always get that second one saying it's premiering now. That's why I said, and I also made it easier so it's easier for y'all to like maybe keep that schedule intact. So, because I know some people won't remember it. So, remember, you'll have the morning video, because at first I was just going to do one video, but someone said I should have a morning video as well. So I just said, okay, I'll oblige, and I put a morning one there. There will be a morning video at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I might adjust that to 11, though. That way it's kind of late morning. So I might put it at 11. So what I'll do is I'll have that one be at 11, and then the premiere video will either be at 3, but the 3 o'clock is only for Saturday. The 3 o'clock is only for Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday are 5 p.m. Tuesday and Friday are 4 p.m. Okay, so I'm seeing that people saying that they get the notifications on Discord rather quickly. So, like I said, 11 o'clock a.m., that's every day for the first video. The second one is either going to be at 3, like tomorrow, for instance, tomorrow, the premiere video will be at 3 p.m. Sunday will be 5, Monday will be 5, Tuesday is 4, Wednesday 5, Thursday 5, Friday 4. Narma said 3 p.m. on Saturday is great because Saturday has 2 prime times, which is afternoon and late evening, which would make sense because, like I said, it's Saturday. It's not a weekday. And that's usually a day when some people may not be near a computer. They out doing whatever it is they're doing. I'm trying to understand what you said. You said it's cool. I just hope it doesn't much moving forward. Was that a typo? I'm thinking that's a typo because I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Tina said, he says, where I go, I get 4 YouTube notifications, 4 YouTube tutorial notifications for a video that premiered the previous night. Yeah, that's crazy. And I'm certain that y'all have the bell clip. One thing that I will also suggest that y'all do is when you are going to my channel, even if you have to do this once a day, go to my channel. Make sure, number one, that you're still subscribed. Because I had someone leave a comment saying that they got unsubscribed from my channel one time and they had to resubscribe. Check to make sure that you are still subscribed to my channel. That means that the subscribe button has to be highlighted in gray or black or whatever the color is, but I think it's gray. And make sure when you click the bell that it says all. It's going to have 3 of them, all, personalized, and none. Make sure all is the one that is clicked. Because if you have it on personalized, sometimes you will get the notification late, like the next day, like Tina said right there in the comments. Because that happened to me, and I didn't have the people's bell clicked to all, mainly because I didn't want, like, I wasn't trying to get notifications for all of their videos, but at least I got something. And one thing I had saw before, and this is gonna be the last thing I talk about before I continue going on with the rest of the topics, is that YouTube, like they said, I was reading something where I was asking, how do you do the notifications? Because it feels like sometimes that a lot of the people, they say that they have the notifications on, but they still don't get them. And basically, YouTube says that they do kind of a think type of thing. They send them out to people who they think is going to click it. So, say for example, that you have your notification set to all, and the notification comes through. If you don't click that notification, what over time, what YouTube is going to assume is that you don't really want to be notified by this channel. And what they'll do is eventually what's going to happen is they're going to stop sending them. If that makes sense. But for the most part, it seems that people are like, when it comes to Discord, that works fine because it's like, it's real instant, it's real fast. Trust me and believe, if I could have every last person in the Discord when I upload like my content, that would be dope. But I know that's not realistic. But the thing is, I have over almost 300 people in my Discord, but all 300 people are not online either. So if people are in the Discord and they're not on, and I said this before, if they're in the Discord and they're not online, they won't get it. If you have an active YouTube account, even if it's just a comment on my stuff, and you're not signed in, you won't get notified either. So it's just like, you got to guess. Because one thing Professor Black Truth says in his addresses before he gets started in his intro is saying that, make sure that you're subscribed and make sure to check that YouTube has not unsubscribed you, because he knows that YouTube will do that to his channel. And he says, make sure to click the bell icon and have that on so you can have your notifications on. He says that in all his weekly addresses. And shout out to him, because the Moment of Truth video has been hitting. I'm loving it. But anyway, sorry to take a little pause in between, but I wanted to just put that out there. Now we can go ahead and get back into the swing of things with this next story. Now, this next story is probably going to make y'all laugh a little bit. So I'm sure that some of y'all saw that I had put Mariah Carey in the list of topics I was talking about, and some of you probably didn't pay attention to it or probably wondering, okay, what's going on with her? Well, as you all know, November is here. So they like to get an early start on playing Christmas songs. So that one song that she has is not the only Christmas song she has, but that song plays every single year. Some people love it. Some people are annoyed by it. It is what it is. It's a popular song. But one bar in Texas allegedly said that they were going to ban that song. Like, when I saw this, I was laughing so hard. I was like, is that deep? But apparently it looks like there was some kind of miscommunication with what was going on. So it says Texas bar denies banning Mariah Carey Christmas classic after singer post warrior pic. And it says a bar in Texas has denied banning Mariah Carey's Jingle Bell classic All I Want for Christmas Is You after a tweet claimed that patrons were not allowed to play the track during the holiday season. The dust-up began when Texas theater critic Kyle Smith tweeted out a picture last month of a sign hung at a Dallas Stoneleigh P that read, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You will be skipped if played before December 1st. After December 1st, the song is only allowed one time a night. As you might imagine, that sent the Lamley Nation into overdrive with righteous indignation about the seeming embargo on one of the most beloved modern Christmas classics. Mariah herself even seemed to get in on the action a few days later after she tweeted out a pic of herself as an armored warrior from her 2015 Game of War commercial in the midst of a battle, with a link back to the original post from Smith and a response from a user who wrote, "Is this the war on Christmas I've heard about?" As it turns out, though, there is more than meets the winking eye to the story. According to the bar's general manager, Laura Garrison, in a statement to Billboard, Garrison explained, "The song is not banned. We skip it on the jukebox if it is played during the month of November. Come December, we're allowed to play it once a month. This has been an ongoing joke in the bar for about 3 years, and with the staff and our regulars. I guess since Mariah herself responded, this has taken off. Who would have thought? Even if the Stonely meters how often All I Want is played is not likely to have much of an impact on the track that is perennially popular holiday hit. All I Want made its annual return to the Billboard Hot 100 Songs chart last November, launching at number 29 on its way to number 1 nearly 27 years after its 1994 release. Carey also expanded the Jolly Melody into a range of a Christmas concert from books to films. The Christmas Queen is also getting her own holiday special, Mariah's Christmas The Magic Continues, slated to drop on Apple Plus next month. Now, this is the tweet right here from the sign that kicked all of this off right here. And I kind of figured that this was kind of like something was off about it because they misspelled Christmas. It says, All I Want for Chrisette Miss is You will be skipped. It played before December 1st. After December 1st, the song is only allowed one time a night. But this is the tweet right here. It was posted October 22nd, 2021, because they will play the hell out of that song. Anybody who works in retail, I'll put it like this. I'm talking to people in retail, and they hate when this time of the year comes. Not because of the people, because they know they're going to play that song over the intercom at least once every hour. And it is true. They will listen. They will wear the hell out of this song. They will. So I can understand the frustration, but to say that you are going to announce that you're going to ban the song, though, like that's really is not really that deep. But it looks like it says that they were doing it's like an ongoing joke. But this is the first time that it really made its rounds out there. Maybe now they'll get more business because of, with Mariah Carey, when she responded to it, the tweet ended up going viral. So it is what it is. But when I saw it, I was just laughing, and I kept thinking about all the people who work in retail who got to deal with that song every single year, every single day for like 2 months straight. Daniel Campbell said, is Mariah Carey only banking on that song? You know what? Honestly, if she was to stop making music today, she could bank on that song, because that song gets played so many times for like 2 straight months, just on like streaming and alone and rotations on the radio. She probably rakes in millions of dollars every year. She, like I said, she could retire and not do music ever again, and she will be good just off of this song. I mean, she has other endeavors and whatnot. Her net worth is ridiculous. So she'll be good no matter what. Even if this song was to stop playing, she'll be good. Terry Jones said, I worked at Target 8 hours and it was a bit irritating. I can imagine. So like I said, anybody who works in retail, like at a Target or a Walmart or in a mall, I'm certain you're going to hit the song, because I know that when I'm going out and I go to those stores around this time of the year, I always hear it no matter what. Like, I will not get out of that store and not hear that song. Watner says she makes $600,000 a year from that song. That's chump change to her, though, honestly. Let's see. Tina said, when I worked at Michael's, OMG, I hate that song. Played it every hour for 2 months straight. See? I know, because you hear it all the time. And whenever I'm in the stores, just walking around and I hear it come on, I put myself in the shoes of the retailer or the retail worker, and I'm like, I know they're going through it, because I only have to hear it one time. They got to hear it multiple times throughout the day. Noam King said, I actually like Chris Brown's rendition of This Christmas better. I'll give it to him. Chris Brown did a really good a good rendition of This Christmas. And This Christmas is probably one of the most remade Christmas songs ever. Shout out to Donny Hathaway for coming up with that song. That song is like a holiday classic. Like, I can't count how many artists have remade that song and probably did their own little spin on it. And that's another person right there. If he never made another song again in his career before he passed, he wouldn't have to. All the royalties he would get off of that one song, just based off of how many people remade it, he's set for life. But yeah, let me go ahead and move on. Honestly, her net worth is 320 million. See, she's good. Mariah Carey is set for life. So let's move on to this one right here. That was a little bit more lighthearted, that story that I brought you. Now we're back to the more serious topics. And that's talking about this Ahmaud Arbery case right here. And the jury selection that just recently occurred. And it's crazy because the article that I'm looking at just got posted today at 7 a.m. So this is very recent. And basically they are up to their bullshit again. First was they said we can't have these type of pictures of Ahmaud Arbery in the courtroom. Just use one picture, and that picture has to be of him by himself, which of course is the picture that I think that we all seen. It looks like a graduation picture where he's smiling and he has the suit on and he has the blue background. They said no pictures of him with family or anything like that to make him look a certain type of way. Now, this jury selection that they have is very questionable. Talk about not having a jury of your peers. They said that this jury has 12 people, 11 white and 1 black. They literally are trying to set this up where the McMichaels can walk. But to be honest, I don't think with even all of this stuff that they're doing is even going to work. It is so funny. Isn't it poetic justice when they do stuff like this and it backfires on them? Daniel said, according to Google, Mariah Carey doesn't own any of her masters. I don't know about that because she has writing credit on pretty much all of her songs. So I don't know about that. And even if she didn't, she definitely has writing and production credits. So that's where most of her net worth is coming from. So I find that kind of hard to believe. But yeah, they said they have 11 white jurors and 1 black one. Dynasty said, then white people said, y'all, you all got Chauvin. Interesting take on that. I didn't think of that because with Derek Chauvin and him being found guilty a few months ago, and they're trying to make it seem like, oh, that's it. That's your one white person that that we let slip through. Don't expect it to happen again. You think you got one white person? You think we about to let you get a 2 for 1? Oh, nah. But let's see what they're talking about. After summons went out to 1,000 people and attorneys questioned potential jurors for more than 2 weeks, a panel has finally been selected in the trial of the 3 men facing murder charges for the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. But the racial makeup of the jury has been stirring controversy since it was finalized on Wednesday. Only 1 juror is black, while the other 11 are white. The Arbery case became and this is as far as diversity goes with white people. When they like to talk about diversity, this is their diversity. This is the equivalent of my 1 black friend. Like they say, I have a black friend. That 1 juror in that sea of 11, that sea of 12, that he or she is the black friend. The Arbery case became a focal point in the national conversation around race last year after cell phone video emerged showing the 3 white defendants, Gregory McMichael, his son Travis McMichael, and their neighbor William Bryan, chasing Arbery, a black man, as he jogged down a residential street before one of them shoots him with a shotgun. Over the course of jury selection, prosecutors in Georgia objected to defense attorneys as they repeatedly moved to strike potential black jurors from the trial, calling it unconstitutional. And while Judge Timothy Walmsley acknowledged intentional discrimination in the panel, he told the court he was unable to reinstate any jurors who had been dismissed, saying the defense made race-neutral arguments for tossing them. They have been able to explain to the court why, besides race, those individuals were struck from the panel, Walmsley said. With opening statements in the trial set to begin as early as Friday, criminal justice advocates, legal experts, and other observers of the case are voicing concern about how the lack of diversity on the jury could affect the outcome of the trial. There is a long an ugly history of excluding black people from juries, particularly in the South, and we have just not figured out a way to escape this legacy. Adam Benforado, a law professor at Drexel University, told NPR via email. I know how you can escape that. Get rid of the people that's in charge over it. Simple as that. You do that, you might actually have a turnaround, but you don't do that because you don't want it. This is how you always want it to be, which is why it continues to be the way that it is. In a case that seems to have so much to do with race, how could it be acceptable to have a jury with only one black person on it, particularly in a county with a large African American population? Well, in my opinion, the answer is that it's not, but our legal system has not provided tools that adequately addresses the problem. The Sixth Amendment of the Constitution guarantees citizens the right to a criminal trial by an impartial jury, but there is no requirement that the jury be as racially diverse as the area where the trial is taking place. Legal experts say that this can lead to imbalances. In Glenn County, where Arbery was killed and the trial is happening, nearly 27% of the population is black. Research suggests that juries made up of all white members are more likely to convict black people at higher rates. See, what they don't want is the equivalent of to how that jury looked with OJ back in the 90s. Ever since then, they have been trying their best to get away from that. And see, it's like they said, it's a historical thing. Because think about it with Emmett Till. We know that them knuckle-headed pieces of shit, alongside with that bitch Carolyn Bryant as an accomplice, brutally murdered and tortured Emmett Till. But who was the ones on the jury? It was not one black face, and they found them not guilty in a matter of hours, not days, hours. It was literally like an open and shut case. It was almost like one of them things like, why even have a trial? A Duke University-led study of a decade of criminal convictions in Florida, for example, found that all white jury pools convicted black defendants 16% more often than white defendants. But when even just one black person was added to the jury pool, the gap in conviction rates nearly disappeared. Angie Setzer, a senior attorney for the Equal Justice Initiative, told NPR that diverse juries are more likely to discuss ideas that an all-white jury might overlook, such as racial profiling. Studies have shown that racially representative juries engage in a more thoughtful and deliberative fact-finding process, Setzer said. Studies have shown that racially representative juries are also better to assess the reliability and credibility of witness testimony. The jury in the recent criminal case against Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer who killed George Floyd, was even more racially diverse than the county where the trial took place. Chauvin was convicted and sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison. Despite the research, black people and other people of color remain, and I'm glad that they separated the two, because they love to throw us with POC. I'm glad that they separated the two. Remain less likely to end up in the jury box. The reasons for that start long before a trial even begins. You know how they always say when black people get that jury summons to do jury duty, and they say, why do black people not want to serve? It's not that they don't want to go that day and serve. It's because of stuff like this. They don't get chosen. But you know, they got to put out that thing that black people don't want to go do their civic duty. That's a lie. Because when I was summoned to do jury duty in the past, whenever I get it, I woke up at the damn near crack of dawn in the cold to go stand in there and sit there for hours, and sometimes didn't even get picked. Like we got dismissed before we could even go in. And I looked at all the faces in that room, and most of them were black. So when they say black people don't want to do jury duty, that's a goddamn lie. And don't you believe it? Each jurisdiction identifies different jurors differently. In many places, court issue summons using driver's license lists or voter rolls. But black people are often missing from those rolls due to barriers they can face in registering to vote. If they live in a city where they rely on public transportation, they may not have a driver's license. For those who cannot afford to miss work, the prospect of losing a paycheck is another obstacle to serving on a jury. Every U.S. state, besides Arizona, also gives attorneys peremptory challenges, which they can use to strike potential jurors for basically any reason other than the person's race or gender. Experts say peremptory challenges are another way to exclude certain groups of people, and it isn't difficult for attorneys to find a race-neutral argument for using for such a strike. Also, and this has hit me, another reason they do this is because they know that this is a sensitive topic for black people. And they know that if they put a certain amount of black people on these juries, they automatically going to find the people guilty. No matter what is presented to them as evidence, they already will have in their mind that the person is guilty. That's funny because white people have been known to do that same exact thing for many, many years. But they don't want us doing the same thing that they do. The standard is so easy to articulate some kind of race-neutral reason that is very difficult for the judge, Suja Thomas, a law professor at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, told NPR. In the trial of the three men accused in the death of Arbery, prosecutors argued that the defense attorneys' peremptory strikes were race-based. The defense attorneys argued that they struck some potential black jurors, not because of their race, but rather because they were biased against the defense and had made up their minds about the case. Didn't I just say that? I just said that. But PC has been known to do that. They're basically trying to save the McMichaels and William Bryan. They're trying to save them. And they're pulling out all the stops to make sure and ensure that that happens. Especially when you think of all the charges that they have and the type of time they can possibly serve if they're found guilty. The practice is far from limited to defense attorneys, though. Thomas said it's typically prosecutors who try to dismiss, for example, black jurors from cases involving a black defendant. A 2010 report by the nonprofit Equal Justice Initiative found that the exclusion of people of color, though their words, not mine, from criminal juries was widespread across the United States. Sessler said juries that aren't racially diverse can undermine the public's confidence about the fairness of a trial. That is fundamentally what the jury system is about. What our criminal legal system is about citizens' confidence in it, she said. Well, to be honest, a lot of black people in America, and even some of those that are not in America, don't have confidence in this so-called system. But since we're talking about the U.S., we'll keep it limited to here. Many black people do not have confidence in this system that they want us to have so much confidence in. And the reason they have so much confidence in it is because they have a stake in it. And that stake is to get rid of them, you know who's. Let's see what some of y'all are saying. Zarp said they don't want us to do the same thing they do to us. Exactly. That will actually require to slightly leveling the playing field. And they don't want nothing level. What did Richard Spencer say? It's all about winning. It's not about fairness. Even though lately nowadays this man has been losing a lot because he is a loser and he is lame as all hell. Takes it the last time I went for jury duty, I was just sitting there. A lot of white folks were in there too. Did you get chosen? Because I remember I don't think every time that I've only had to go to jury duty 3 times, and none of the times I had to serve. One time I almost did, and the reason why I didn't get chosen is because of where I sat at. Basically, what it was, they brought us all into the courtroom, and they said from this side over, y'all are dismissed. I was on the side that was dismissed. If I was over to the left and not the right, I would have had to stay in. So I just got lucky because of where I sat at. But the other 2 times that I went, we just sat there and they just dismissed us because one of the trials that was happening ended up turning into a bench trial. So they had no other choice but to dismiss after that. But yeah, those are just a couple of my jury duty stories. I only got summoned 3 times. And I'm sure that 4th one is coming real soon because you know it's like I think it's every 3 years, and I'm sure mine is almost up. So I'm sure I'll be getting something in the mail soon, probably sometime next year. Just don't know when. All I know is this, and I hope I'm not jinxing myself. That shit better not come on the week of my birthday. But usually for me, like whenever they send me a summons, it's never that late. It's usually earlier in the year, so I should be good. Imagine if you had to do jury duty on your birthday. Huh. All right, you have a good one too, Janesta. All right, let's move on to the next story, and that's a major story that came out this week, and that is involving the election results that happened in Virginia. Now, this right here is what I call turning of the tide. This is the turning of the tide right here, because Virginia is a Republican state now, thanks to the results that happened this past Tuesday in the election for governor, Youngkin versus McAuliffe. And I said this on Twitter. I don't like the policy or the way that Glenn Youngkin ran his election, especially after what I heard. A couple of things. He ran it on, was the CRT, basically saying that he promised that CRT would not be taught in Virginia schools. The next one was the protection of qualified immunity, which has literally given police all kinds of protection and is kicking our ass. And when I say our ass, I'm talking about our black ass. That was another thing. But the other one, and this is a crucial one, was basically the fear mongering of black folks. He ran that thing on the fear of black people. So you do that, you know what type of people are going to vote for you. But on the flip side, the Democrats have no one else to blame but themselves. We have told them time and time again to meet our demands, but they kept ignoring us. They kept sidelining us. They kept pushing us to the side. They kept treating us like the bastard child or the side chick. And now look at what happened. You lost one of your biggest states. A crucial one at that. That could change the trajectory of your outcome probably for next year. But from the looks like of it, it doesn't look like that's going to be likely. Even my dad, who voted for Joe Biden, after endless discussions I've had with him about him, like when he was like constantly ignoring me and stuff like that about Joe Biden, now realizes that this guy is a sham. I said, well, I tried to tell you. I said, he's making empty promises and all types of stuff like that. And look at where it's going to get him. Tate said CRT is taught only in law school, not in public schools. That's the new talking point, just like protests for the election. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people that's protesting against CRT don't even know what the hell it is. But they hear talking about the history of black people and they get shook. Zarb said, what made your dad change? Because I talked to him. He said, what made my dad change his mind about Mr. Touchy-Feely? I said, me talking to him. Just like talking to him about what happened. And he then not only simply talking to him, but he also had to hear and see things with his own eyes. Because it's one thing if you talk to people and tell people something, but a lot of people are visual and they have to hear something. That was him. And he sees it now. And now me and him can have effective conversations. And he says, son, you was right. I said, I know I was right. Not to sound like an asshole, but I know I was right. And I've been telling him about that for the last year. I said, I told y'all. See, this is exactly why the voices of the new black media are needed. Because my dad will watch CNN until his eyes peel back. I said, I know some things. I've heard some things that CNN is not going to tell you. And now, here we are, over a year later, even though it happened maybe a couple weeks back, he finally sees the light. Donna said, was it the 450,000 immigrants? It was all of that. It was everything. Like I was telling him like a whole bunch of stuff. And the thing is, like I would tell him and then he would see it maybe on TV or hear about it on maybe some kind of a, because he likes to listen to FM radio. Like he likes to listen to like those like streaming radio channels and stuff like that, like urban radio. And he likes to listen to that. And sometimes he would hear it on that. So like I said, it took for me to talk to him about it. I had to speak to him in a certain tone for him to really get it. And then he would hear it. And then he's like, you know what? You were right. And that's all it takes. It's just admitting that you were wrong and that I was right. Not to sound like an asshole, but it is what the fuck it is. Don't have no shame about that. Listen, if y'all got family members out there that wanted to hang over your head about you not voting for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party and all types of stuff like that, circle that wagon right back around. I don't give a damn if you have to throw it in your face. They already mad at you anyway. What they gonna do? The damage is already done. Y'all are stuck with this man to 2024. Y'all will know to have his ass out of there in 2024. Now, what we get as a replacement, I'm not sure. But he finally got it, and that's all that matters. And now we can have more effective conversations without what I feel to be levels of pushback. Because like he would mention to me about Joe Biden said that, promises and having black people's back. I said, yeah, he said all of that, and they were all empty promises. And I keep telling them, some of the stuff I'll be talking to y'all about on here, I talking to him about in person. That's why I say what y'all get from me on here, you will get from me in real life. Like, I don't just turn it off the minute I stop recording a video. That's who I am in real life. If the conversation comes up, then I'm going to go in. And anybody who knows me knows that I will. But like I said, what the Biden supporters did is the same thing the Trump supporters did. Trump supporters, they were going off of MAGA, Make America Great Again, and build the wall and all types of stuff like that. They went off of that. Biden supporters went off of, we got to get Trump out of office. The only difference between the Biden supporters, well, the black ones anyway, and the Trump supporters is the Trump supporters actually got something out of it. The black supporters of Biden did not get a damn thing. But Asians got something. The Afghan evacuees got something. They were able to come over here. The Asians got a whole hate crime bill after just 1 year of being called names. And now the announcement or the consideration of $450,000 per person for the migrants might get something, but they don't have money for reparations. Now, granted, I don't think that 450K is going to go through because at the end of the day, is not only black people that are upset about that, but the nation as a whole is pissed off about that. So I don't think that's going to go through. But it's the fact that it's even being considered that is a problem. The fact that it was even a consideration is a problem. Because I did the math. $450,000 per person, and we know that they're not just going to come over by themselves. They're coming with a family. They already at $1 million if it's 3 of them, a wife, a husband, and a child. That's $1 million right there, over $1 million. So imagine if they come over with a family of 7. But they claim that, we have no money to give black people. Bullshit. Y'all been paying the people over in Afghanistan millions of dollars for how many years since 9/11? Now you want to consider giving $450,000 to some illegal immigrants, and not only get that kind of money possibly, but to get them all kinds of other benefits like jobs, business loans, grants. Where does it stop? Where does the madness end? Exactly, Donna. People was going in on Ice Cube for his contract with Black America, and I blame them whorish ass hens over at Fox Soul and the other hens over around the globe, or around America at least, for literally going against him because allegedly he didn't have anything in there specifically for black women. You selfish ass bitches. Yes, I said it. Probably ruined a damn good plan. Talk about just wait until Joe Biden gets into office and he'll do and see what he's going to speak with you. He's been in office for over a year and has not had one meeting yet with Ice Cube. And he said, if you look in the plan, it's something in there for y'all. But they got mad. I said, if people didn't realize the treachery of people like that at that point, I don't know what to tell you. I remember doing a video about that, and I went in on their asses for that. DSA when he says, can you see if those same females have said something since they claimed? They probably haven't said much of anything, and if they did, I really don't care. Honestly, I really don't care. It's water under the bridge now. Like I said, the damage is done. The damage is more than done. But they know who they are, and we know who they are, and we're gonna make sure that we don't forget what they said. But I have one more story to go over, and y'all know how I like to do. Tell me down in the comments what y'all think the last story is. Okay, I'm seeing some people say Aaron Rodgers. I'm seeing some people say J-Lo. Someone say Dave Chappelle. Some Biden mandate to private companies. Well, to those of you who said Aaron Rodgers, you are pretty much in the right ballpark. But it does deal with Aaron Rodgers, but it also mainly deals with this confrontation that Jay Williams had with Stephen A. for Asshole Smith on First Take the other day. And it was so profound. It was so profound when Jay Williams went and basically checked Stephen A. Smith for the way he comes at Kyrie Irving. So basically what happened, and I'm sure many of you have already seen the video. You crazy, Terry. He said saving 30% on car insurance by switching to Geico. Basically what happened was it came out that Aaron Rodgers, who plays, he's the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. It came out that he recently tested positive for COVID, but that wasn't really the main situation. The main situation was him lying about taking the scene. Like, he never took it. He never took the scene when he claimed to have taken it. He said he was immunized, which that turned out to be a lie. And then it just recently came out that he tested positive for COVID. And before I go in further about Stephen A. Smith and Jay Williams, you know this fool Aaron Rodgers had the nerve to pull a MLK quotes out of his ass. I said, white people love doing that MLK shit. They love to do that. Now, how you managed to do that? Like, MLK has nothing to do with this, but they use him as a shield when they fuck up. I'm gonna need you to cut that shit out, Aaron Rodgers. But anyway, basically, Jay Williams was on First Take with Stephen A. for Asshole Smith, and Jay Williams basically said, it's interesting, and I'm just paraphrasing, it's interesting how you have all this venom for Kyrie Irving for not taking a scene, saying he's untrustworthy, he's betraying the team, and he's selfish and all types of stuff like that, and saying it in the tone that only he does when he's coming after black athletes. And he says, you said somewhat of the same stuff about Aaron Rodgers, but your tone was a whole lot calmer than when how you dealt with or talked about Kyrie Irving. And that was absolutely true. And not just with Kyrie Irving, it's with any black athlete. But then Stephen A. for Asshole Smith tried to cover it up, just saying, I can't even remember what he said, but it was a bunch of bullshit. And in the midst of their conversation going forward, then Stephen A. Smith turned into his usual asshole self and not only got loud on the set with Jay Williams, but then started to divert back to three black players. I think Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. What did they have to do with? We're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Like, it had nothing to do, especially with Kevin Durant or James Harden. Like, how did you manage to bring them up? Because he cannot help himself. This guy is a self-hating Negro. And the thing is, he is scared of getting fired from ESPN. Because I think one time he tried to go ahead and do his own thing and it didn't hit right. His ass came crawling right back to ESPN on his goddamn hands and knees, like the little bitch he is. But Jay Williams was basically handing out some haymakers to him. And Jay Williams was being calm. But Stephen A. for Asshole Smith was the one yelling like he was on his goddamn period. Trying to overtalk and everything like that. And for what? And nothing he was saying was making any sense. It's almost like he tried to make a claim for whatever it is that he was doing, but it wasn't quite hitting right. Like I said, I'm glad that Jay Williams actually checked him. I don't know what that's going to do. It was some running jokes on Twitter. They said, well, looks like Jay Williams probably won't be returning next week because Stephen A. Smith probably going to talk to the main people to see if he can get him fired. Because Jay Williams is the new co-host on First Take ever since Max Kellerman left. He's Max Kellerman's replacement. And speaking of, I'm glad someone actually mentioned, darling, I'm glad you mentioned her because I forgot to pull her article up, but I'll just throw it in here. Jen Psaki, or Psaki, how you pronounce her name, the press secretary, she tested positive for WUVID. As she got up there and told all them lies about, the scene does this and the scene does that, and she took the scene and she still tested positive. So that's all I have to say about her. But yeah, Stephen A. for Asshole, he's going to get his one day. Someone's going to match his energy one day and probably come flying across that damn table and knock that wig even further back down his goddamn neck. It's like the more he get mad, the more his hairline recedes. But that's pretty much all I have for today. Thank you all for coming through. Thanks for all the new people that may have subscribed. If you have, welcome. Make sure that y'all are tuned in tomorrow when we're going forward with my videos. Remember, the first one's at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the next one, the premiere, will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the premiere I'm doing tomorrow, that's going to be a very, very, very interesting one right there. But y'all will see it because it'll be in the preview before it actually premieres, and I'll probably do that later on this evening. With that being said, I'm going to get off of this. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening or whatever's left of it, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk tomorrow.